absolutely. So I think the first thing that a lot of people don't realize is to just take time to understand who they are. And most people, when you ask them that question, they have no idea who they are. So tap into, the things that you're passionate about, what you envisage for yourself, what you love to do, whether or not you're earning money from that at the moment or not. And then I want you to ask yourself, what would I be doing today if there were no limitations anywhere? And I mean your resources, network of people, money, all of those things. If you could just, because we're told to stop the imagination. When we start school, it's like pay attention, stop daydreaming, all of those things. And, at the end of the day, that we forget to use our imagination.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. And Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Donna Ferguson, and Donna is going to be talking to us about her passion of bringing vibration into your life. So we're going to discuss all things vibrational, not vibrators, but vibrational.
Yeah, no, not vibrators.
Welcome, Donna, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me, Rose. That was a very different introduction. Thank you for that. I think.
Well, sometimes you just have to be a little bit foolish and,
Get out there. That's right.
That's it. Yeah. I had a really nice compliment. I had a guest on this morning, and she said that she really loves my podcast. She said, because you're giving entrepreneurs an opportunity to get out there, get their message out to the public. And she said, what I do is just so engaging and warms, and it made me feel really nice. I got nice goosebumps out of that. So it was beautiful.
Absolutely. And very natural. You are very natural when you go, because I know we spoke last week. So, I know that was a very comfortable environment to be in as well. So, you're very calm, relaxing, like you just make people feel really welcomed and warm and fuzzy inside, can I say? Thank you.
Hey, so tell me, how did you get into unique vibrations coaching, and what is it exactly?
Sound. Your sound just dropped out.
No, still there.
Oh, you're back, but I lost that whole question.
Okay, so let me start again. This can all be wiped out, so it's all good stuff.
Okay, good.
How did you come up with the name Unique Vibrations Coaching, and what exactly do you do? What do you coach in, and how does it help with business and personal life?
Yeah, great question. And, everything that I did with this business, because I rebranded about 4 or 5 years ago from an old business. Let's say I just started a new business and closed the other one down because it's such a big task. And but everything about it was really consciously done. So I sat down with the lady that was helping me with marketing at the time, and we just did a brain dump on words that I wanted to create into the business name. And when you're a little bit into the higher self and spiritual connection, I really wanted that to resonate with the name of my business as well, hence the word vibrations, which came through. And then I wanted it to resonate with the type of coaching that I provide, which was unique to what a lot of other coaches did back then. So that was how we came up with the name Unique Vibrations. And as a coach, I now work with people with their root cause of, people will often say, my results aren't changing. It doesn't matter what I do, it's not changing. So what I do is I really look within them. We look at their root cause of why they're getting the results they are at the moment. And often that's through their programming, their conditioning, their paradigms, their belief system, all which has been impressed upon us at a very early age, or it's even come through generational cords. So we look at those behaviors from past, like parents, grandparents, etc., and even further back to see what it is that has created them to think the way they think, because everything we think, everything we imagine, everything we visualize comes from a belief system that we've got within us, and look at ways to break that down. And we take them back through a journey so that they can really work out where it first began and how we can change that up with a change in their vocabulary, their language, their ability to even feel about themselves, instead of suppressing all those emotions and feelings that they might want to set out to do.
Yeah, I've got a really good friend of mine. She's always telling me that my language is not very good. She says, always really negative, Rose. She said, how are you supposed to feel better if they use all this negative language? She's always coming down tons off me for not using the right language. I thought, well, it's just the way I speak. But you're right. It's the way you're brought up. It's the language. It's the beliefs that you're given as a child that stick with you throughout your life. And it takes someone like an outsider to pick those things up and say, well, you could talk better, you could talk proper.
You could talk proper, Rose.
Yeah.
I know, and it's really funny because people don't understand that, I sometimes my clients will even say to me something and I'll go, I noticed this is what you said. Oh, that's not what I usually say. I'm like, well, if it's not what you usually say, it's in your vocabulary because it's just, you haven't thought about it, it's just come out. So opening up that conscious awareness of what your thoughts are, how you can intercept them and actually reprogram that. But also, it's like food. When we grow up, we're given food that our parents like, not what we like, because we're too little to actually even know what we like. And so that's what we grow up liking, and that's what we continue to do and pass on to our children. So it's no different to food. So it's just about, well, sometimes you'll go out to a restaurant or you'll go to somebody's house and they'll say, try this. And so we try it and we're like, actually, I really like that. I don't know why my parents never had that in my home. Unless, of course, they're a completely different nationality. But generally speaking, why didn't my parents have that in their home? Probably because they were never given it.
Yeah, exactly. So do you use NLP in your coaching or in timeline therapy and all those sorts of things, or do you have a different modality?
I definitely use timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, NLP, psychic protection, healing, so getting in on a deep level. I use a lot of intuitiveness as well because I do tend to pick up on emotions, feelings, and able to go, able to identify those things that people aren't telling me by asking the right questions. So it is a little bit intuitive as well, which I love. I've even done channeling from time to time because that's just what happens with that particular client. If they're open to that, or they've experienced that before, then that might be something that happens. And I'll be like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but this is, this is what it is. And they'll go, oh my gosh, that's like my mum or my dad or, my grandfather or whatever it might be. And it's really, really spot on match. So that's really fun for me as well, because if you can tap into their energy on a deeper level, you can do anything with them, really.
Yeah.
And
Is it important? Is it important that people that come to you, do you often find maybe that that they use these skills or practice these skills on their friends, their family? Does it make better relationships?
look, absolutely, and we look at their whole self. So we're looking at, first of all, themselves, because that's the most important place to start, especially if they feel lack of worth, lack of value, lack of confidence, they're self-sabotaging. Often it's a lack of unconditional love that they feel for themselves, not because they haven't been loved, but maybe they're emotionally torn somewhere and not able to feel that about themselves. So therefore, they're not able to give that to other people that surround them in their immediate families. But also, I think people don't understand why there's a bridge between members of families, siblings, or, might be even, aunties and uncles and cousins and things. So we look at ways in which we can break down what has occurred and how to build that relationship up without those people even knowing. So they can practice, you're right, they can practice doing things in relationships, that the other party doesn't know, and it will just improve that relationship. It's, there's so much silent stuff they can do that empowers them to have more control and more love and more ability to open up. But also it's all those things about themselves. It's about relationships. It's about fun, old stories. What are their old stories? I know people who have gone out and met soulmates within weeks of doing this work, and have just gone, I never dreamt that was ever going to happen. Like I wasn't even looking, it just happened. And, have built really great relationships and not necessarily marriages, because, they were a bit older and they didn't feel the need to get married, but, just finding their soulmate through doing a little bit of work, because it's not a lot of work and it's not hard work. And if you really want something, we've got to take action, right?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Now, I guess going from personal coaching and bettering your life, and I guess bettering your relationships with your family or friends, how can a business owner use these and gain the skills, I guess, to better their business?
Yeah, great question, Rose. Really good question. You've heard the saying, everything filters down from the top in a business. So the business owner might have some blocks there that they don't even realize are there. They want to take their business to the next level. They don't know how. So we build that up for them. And I also work with their team so that the business owner has a very clear vision and image and mission statement, but their employees and their team also knows exactly what that is. So that when they're talking to clients and prospective clients, they share the exact same message. And there's no way for that to get lost in translation, because we make sure that they get very clear with that. And it's really interesting, because when you work with businesses and you ask the business owner, what's your vision for your business? And they'll tell you, and then you ask their team, they're completely out of the picture when you ask the business owner, write down what you think the vision of this business is, and you just look at the things and it's like, how do we get from that to that? So there's a communication issue there, so it's really important to make sure that we actually get that communication really clear and understood.
Yeah,
And
I worked in organisations where the boss has like one vision for the business, and the rest of us, we thought, well, we're right off base because we have no bloody clue.
that's right. And most employees don't care. But when you respect your team and your staff, then you get respect back. So it's mutual. And then we share with the business owners how they can improve the relationship with their team and put that team into doing the right tasks, because not everybody has been put into a job that suits their personality.
Oh, yes, many times, yes.
So that's really important as well, because once we know and understand, and there's a story actually somebody told me once that they went into a business and they did this same profiling on them, and there were these two women and they used to basically have these big stand-up fights, and they realized after they did the personality test that they were completely different personalities. These two women actually became the best of friends just by understanding that they were in the wrong task driven role. And so, to open that up and actually go, you're better off suited to this role. And then they didn't feel so intimidated by other people because they didn't really understand what they were doing.
Yeah, it's like putting a round peg in a square hole, really, isn't it? Yeah, I mean,
Very much.
Yeah, I've been in those positions. I've been put into jobs that I hated because they were so boring and just so repetitive. But I was always envious of the person who had the next job because they had variety. And I thought, why can't I do that job?
Yeah, so you drive, a Cortina or you drive a Ferrari.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know what I'd rather.
Yeah, same here. I think mine's I'm more of a Lamborghini type girl.
Lamborghini type girl. Actually, I just found a picture of a Lamborghini this morning for something I'm doing.
Yeah, Lamborghini Countach. That was my favourite car as a teen. I thought they were just like to die for, but they're old-fashioned now.
Yes, that's right. But they're still extremely popular, like because they're a unique sort of car.
Yeah, they were the first to have the lift-up doors, and it's just like a spacecraft. It was amazing.
I know, they're pretty phenomenal, aren't they?
They are. One day I might be able to drive one. Who knows?
Who knows? I'm sure you will.
Just tap on the right shoulder.
Well, you're tapping on many shoulders, Rose, at the moment. So, I can see that happening very soon for you.
Oh, thanks. Okay, so do you have any sort of strategy that you'd like to share today that people could take away with them and, maybe practice it and then they can get your details off the website and come and work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing that a lot of people don't realize is to just take time to understand who they are. And most people, when you ask them that question, they have no idea who they are. So tap into, the things that you're passionate about, what you envisage for yourself, what you love to do, whether or not you're earning money from that at the moment or not. And then I want you to ask yourself, what would I be doing today if there were no limitations anywhere? And I mean your resources, network of people, money, all of those things. If you could just, because we're told to stop the imagination. When we start school, it's like pay attention, stop daydreaming, all of those things. And, at the end of the day, that we forget to use our imagination. So just open up and just really, after you've asked those initial questions, just say, if I had no limitation on what I want to do, what would I do today instead of what I'm doing right now? And just put some meditation music on, just let it flow, just do a word dump. Write down all the things and bring them together. They might mean nothing today, but they might mean an awful lot tomorrow.
It might do too, yes. It's a good practice to do now and again, is just dump all the crap out of your brain, put it down on a bit of paper, and you can always, read it again or just chuck it in the bin, but at least you've written your thoughts down and
Exactly.
made some sense out of them, hopefully. So
Yeah,
that's a really great
exactly.
thing.
And one other thing they can do as well, which I find really interesting, is, and it's very beneficial, is to um, write down when, start opening up to what your thoughts are and what you're thinking about yourself. When you have a thought of something that doesn't really serve you anymore, I don't like to say negative or positive, but is not serving you now. So it might be language, Rose, or it might be, a phrase, or it might be something that you've been, that your parents say all the time, and just intercept it. And I want you to write it down. And then on a separate piece of paper, I want you to write the polar opposite. So everything's energy. We give it meaning, whether it's negative or positive. So when it's of a negative rating, find the exact polar opposite. Law of polarity, there's always an opposite. You might have to think about it for a little bit to really come up with that positive phrase. And then pick up the negative one, burn it in your sink. But while you're burning it, bring in the positive one, say it out loud. If there's people around you don't want them to hear it, then just say it in your mind really loudly. And that actually, the burning of the negative one is just a symbolization of taking that out of the way, and the positive one, and then just really write affirmations around that all the time.
Yeah, it's a bit like new moon ceremonies. You write all the negative things that you want to get rid of, and then you burn them and bury in the ground. And then, but when you're doing that, you say all the positive things. And you're right. Everything that we do has a vibration to it. So whether you want to manifest money, because money's a vibration, money's an energy, you need to, be aligned with that particular type of energy. And I mean, I've got a whole wall here full of, positive affirmations and all sorts of things here that when I get a bit stuck or feeling a bit down, then I just read them and I think, well, there's really nothing wrong with you. You're just feeling sorry for yourself, and just get over it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I have lots of little stickers on my computer. That one particularly is always right in my view when I'm looking at my laptop. Order what you want, because I have done some work and educated myself on universal laws. What most people don't understand is that the law of attraction is a secondary law, not a primary law. And so people can put stuff out to the universe all they like, but it's not just going to come back. They do have to act upon that. Whereas the law of vibration is a primary, is the primary law, universal law, and the vibration level of your energy is always what's going to be what you receive back. So you might want something, but if you only believe it to this level, this is what you're going to get back every single time.
Absolutely,
so,
yes.
I mean,
yes.
I could talk about that all day, and I didn't get into it too much.
I'll have to introduce you to my friend, because she's right up there with that stuff too. So.
Fantastic, yes.
Yeah, Donna, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook under Unique Vibrations, or under Donna Ferguson. There's a couple of Donna Fergusons there. Unique Vibrations might be easier. And LinkedIn, also under both. And Instagram, I'm under Unique Vibrations, but it's spelled BR with the number 8, IONS, rather than the full word. And also on my website, just uniquevibrations.com.
And if you want to email Donna, you can email her at donna@uniquevibrations.com. And that might be a better way to, if you want to, have a discussion with her about how she can help you.
Yeah,
I know she's a fabulous person, and she's ready to talk to you to get your vibrations up there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will do a 30-minute free session with somebody to help them walk away with clarity. And, that's on my calendar link, which is usually in my bio on Instagram. So if they want to have a look there, they can click on that and book a free session with me. Oh, it's in the posts as well that I do on Facebook. So it's kind of everywhere, but you might have to look.
Yeah, just look hard. Not too hard, though.
No, we don't like to make it too hard, or just message me and we'll set up a time.
Absolutely. Donna, have you got any last words of encouragement for our viewers and listeners today?
Look, I think that one of the most important things around, especially with Christmas coming up, it's like one of the most important things is don't buy into other people's energy, because, you know, when all families come together, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So just stay true to yourself and always trust in yourself and what you know to do as your truth, and trust your intuition no matter what. Sometimes you might question, what is that message, or why am I getting that message, or what does that mean? You don't need to know that, because there will be a reason that that comes up. So always just trust your gut or intuition and know that everything is there exactly how it's meant to be.
It's always, the universe is always looking to your highest good, and
Yes.
you know, and don't question the universe, because they know what's good for you.
Yeah. And the universe will always have your back.
Absolutely, that, and the universe will provide too if you ask in the right way. So yes.
That's exactly right. And you know, Rose, it's funny we talk about this because, you know, I'm sure that both of us have had a very interesting journey, and our stories are very interesting. And, you know, people say, well, why did the universe give you that? So I could be here talking to you today.
It's I often used to ask myself why I was put through all of that, but it was to bring me to the point where I am, and you know, it was a learning thing for my journey, and
Yep.
it's just something I had to go through. So
absolutely. And
yeah.
you know, we are responsible for what we go through one way or another. It might be the way we acted or words that we spoke, or it could be anything. Just be grateful for that journey, though. I'm so grateful for my journey of DV, because I know that if I hadn't gone through that, I would never have learned to speak up. I would never have learned to share my story. Would never have met the wonderful people that I've met over the last, well, since I've shared my story over the last probably few years, 10 years, I'd say. But I didn't share it for over 40 years. So for me, it is about stop suppressing and start expressing, because you don't want to disintegrate, you want to create.
Absolutely.
That was
And on
good
that
words
note,
of
Donna,
wisdom.
yes, and on that note, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing with us your unique vibration, because you totally vibrate at some high frequency somewhere.
Thank you so much, Rose. It's been an absolute honour, and you know, I love the network that we've become involved with, and you know, I love what you do. I think you do a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks so much. All right,
So,
you have a great day.
I will. Thanks, Rose. Bye, audience. Thanks for listening.
Talking with the experts.